I've had some weird dreams before, and it's probably because my diet's full of spicy foods and dairy and all this stuff that makes you hallucinate and whatever, and is not associated with good health. You know, when I was 6, I dreamt that I was Sonic the Hedgehog, and I got murdered by George Washington's Secret Service. And I was in like that car from the Sonic the Hedgehog racing game, and that like freaked me out when I was a kid. And just a couple years ago, I had this dream. I was like a high school athlete and I lost a competition. And because I lost the competition, I set off this like fusion reaction in the atmosphere that basically was a hydrogen bomb that blew up the whole Earth, and the whole Earth ended. And it was my fault because I lost the competition. And just a couple weeks ago, I had a sleep paralysis dream. And in this dream, one of my friends just opened the door to my bedroom and just started beating the crap out of me. He was like, bam, 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 bam. The point is, dreams can be really strange, but they're also super funny to look back upon, but only if you vividly remember them. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. In most cases, we can't remember our dreams, and the reason why is because the hippocampus, which stores long-term memory, is actually inactive when we fall asleep. And so we have trouble remembering the dream the day after. See, I wanted to combat this issue, fix this problem. So for the last 31 days, for a full month, I've kept a dream journal. When I wake up, first thing I do, I write, what did I dream about? These were the results. I am in high school. I move into a house with 3 teenage girls. This is a new community in high school for me, so I'm nervous to make friends. The girls, they decide they're gonna host a party, right? Where I end up getting drunk and I meet this football player. He gives me a blank check with a name on it. He informs me, we're doing Senior Assassin this year. And this blank check, it has the name of who you need to get out. So I look at the check, right? And it has just in this small font, someone's name, and I have no clue who it is because I just moved to the school district and I'm like, who the hell is this, right? Whatever, I don't care. I go play Smash Bros because I want to do that. And after playing Smash Bros, I fall asleep. And then I wake up and in my house, in my new house, is the person who has my name on their check, and they get me out. Yeah, he catches me and the dream ends. So there's this Christmas dinner, get-together type of event happening at my parents' house, and a lot of the adults, the older people, are upstairs doing wine tastings, eating expensive cheeses. You know, the things that people with refined tastes in their 40s and 50s like to do. They're listening to Christmas carols. On the patio, me and a bunch of other college-age kids sit and we're drinking. The girl next to me, she tells me she has 14 hours left to live. And everyone is just like, damn, that sucks. And she makes me promise that when she dies, I will change her body into her favorite outfit, which, like, reading that now, I don't know how I feel about that, but it's just a dream, so no worries. And her favorite outfit, it's this like 4th of July style outfit, but it's like a 2018 Pinterest type of 4th of July. Like, it's really, really specifically weird, and it's completely anachronistic. It's strange. So I end up going downstairs into this basement area, and I make eye contact with this older woman. But before I go and talk to her, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go talk to the host of the party, who is not my parents, but it's actually this kind of third-party friend of theirs who just decided, hey, I'd like to host a party, like, will you let me host it at your place? And my parents said yes. So I go and talk to him, and he's trying to sell merchandise for the get-together. He's like, yo, get your merchandise, like, this is an awesome party. And I'm like, I don't give a crap, like, leave me alone. So I walk away because he's annoying me. And then I see Colby Donaldson from Survivor. Colby Donaldson, runner-up of Survivor Australian Outback. I see him. I talk to him for a bit, but then I remember that I left my DS running. My DS that has Pokemon Platinum in it, and I don't want to lose my save file because you have to save in those games. So I go looking for it. After looking for my DS and not finding it, I chat up Colby a little bit more, but then I start chatting up the older woman, right? She's probably about 40. It's not much talk. We just start and I go back inside. Enough time has passed at this point where people at the party have decided we're gonna take the girl who's gonna die in 14 hours to the hospital. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And also, a lot of the adults have started leaving. It's kind of wrapping up late in the night. Then I go talk to the party host again, and he's really upset. He's like, this was supposed to be a lot cooler than it was. People are leaving already? Like, what's going on? Like, come on, stick around, guys. But people are leaving. He asked me, did you like the Christmas music? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't really hear the Christmas music. I was downstairs on the back porch, basement. Like, I didn't really hear it. And that just makes me even more upset, and he's pissed off. And then I'm going to go leave for the hospital. And then I run into my dad, and he's talking to my brother, and he's like, hey, I got you this job lined up. And my brother is like, okay, whatever. Now I head to the hospital, and the dream's over, and I never turn off my DS. So unfortunately, the save file did not save, and I lost all my progress, but so it goes. All right, so this dream starts in 1949, which, for context, if you don't know, was, I believe, the same year that Mao Zedong and the Chinese Communist Party overtook the Kuomintang, and that whole shift started with the Cultural Revolution. The dream's going to start in 1949 with this Chinese woman, and what she's doing is she's heading a group of guerrillas, and they're fighting literally on the Great Wall of China. Super cool, super amazing scene, kind of in my head. And then we fast forward to the 80s, and this woman, same woman, she's living happily on a farm with a British husband.
Or so everyone thinks.
The truth is, she murdered her last husband and her daughter. Both of them are dead and nobody knows. And the thing is, she actually framed somebody for it, and she got away with it. But she's not going to get away for it for long, because who shows up to solve the crime? The doctor. And Martha Jones, who the doctor traveled with in Series 3 of Doctor Who. So the doctor figures it out pretty quickly that this woman murdered her husband and her daughter, but he ends up going missing, just like the father and the daughter. So it's up to Martha Jones to solve it, and she solves it too. Takes her some time, but she solves it. But there's actually a body switching booth in the house the Chinese woman can use to switch bodies with Martha Jones. So then the Chinese woman assumes the body of Martha Jones and just starts doing all this crazy stuff. At the end of the day, her husband ends up figuring out two things though. Firstly, that she switched bodies with Martha Jones. Secondly, that she murdered her last husband. So then what does he do? He figures it out and then murders her. And that's how we ended the dream. It's crazy. So this one starts in the 40s, just like the last one. And we're in on a scene of a lot of different countries meeting together in like a UN-style room. They all decide we're going to establish different space programs to try and beat each other to the moon, just like what happened in real life with the US and the USSR. An American class in the 1940s, they decide we're going to mark the occasion and we're going to bury a time capsule. They put all these little things in it and whatnot, whatever. Fast forward an indeterminate amount of years, and it is Carmen Lopez's prom night, which if you don't know who Carmen Lopez is, she's the daughter of George Lopez in the George Lopez show. And Carmen, she doesn't have a prom date. It's sad.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But her parents are joking about it, which makes her feel even worse. George Lopez, if you've seen the show, this is very on brand for him. George, he jokes that one person comes out of prom night without a kiss, the ugly stepsister. Her and her friend, they're preparing for prom together. Neither of them have a date. When this guy shows up the night of and asks Carmen to prom, and she emphatically says yes. When they're at the entrance to the school, because the prom is being held at the school, he shows her a place where he actually dug up this time capsule. He tells her that he wants to give it to her, and she's really, really happy about it. She's absolutely smitten. Inside at the dance, issues start arising. And the first issue is the boy meets another girl, and they hit it off, and Carmen's just alone. Then Carmen meets a guy, and it seems like everything's going to turn out all right, but there's an issue. The guy just wants to, dance in bed with her. And the weird thing is, during all of this, sometime in the night, the dream switches from third person to first person. So it's like I'm watching Carmen Lopez struggle with this, and then next thing I know, I'm Carmen Lopez. So once I'm Carmen Lopez, I'm like, I'm not dealing with this crap. I'm gonna go talk to the guy and just hash it out with him. Why'd you leave me on our prom night? I'm very hurt. And yeah, we go find an empty area to go talk to each other, but we find like teenagers that are just like sleeping off the night because they're tired, others watching movies, and we can't really find a place to meet up and just talk. In the end, the guy that I guess I went to prom with, and then the guy that approached me at prom or approached Carmen Lopez at prom or whatever you want to say with the verbiage, they both end up finding their friends and just go hang out with them. I end up the ugly stepsister. And that's not a good feeling.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
So in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, oh shoot, the time capsule. I need to find the time capsule. But then the dream switches back to third person, and now I'm watching Carmen Lopez again. And the dream ends as I'm watching Carmen Lopez try to find the capsule, but she can't. Sad dream, low-key. The China Dream Part 2. And no joke, this one just says, Ayusa, China. So I write these as soon as I wake up. I type them just on my phone. And sometimes I'm so tired that the sentences don't make a lot of sense, and I kind of just have to infer what I mean. And I try my best to make sure it all makes sense and I'm not embellishing anything. Apparently I just typed Ayusa, China for a dream. Get ready for this one, because it is insane. This is arguably the craziest dream I had in the 31 days I did this. So the dream is kind of like the Subspace Emissary, which if you don't know is the main campaign for Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the Wii version of Super Smash Bros. And it's actually called the Tib Space in this dream. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking, man. So essentially what you need to know is in the dream, I start as a murderer.
You burned my house to the ground!
And I'm on the run. I'm originally from a really affluent neighborhood, but I'm finding myself in this desert. And the first thing I do is I see this group of like laborers. They are very unhappy with their job, and they seem to be like restrained of some sort, like being forced to do this job, and I free them. And they're very, very thankful, and they make their merry way, and we split off, right? Then see that the desert's starting to flood, and I start running, and the desert's flooding, and it's very, very scary. But on the other side, where I'm running to, the cops, and I'm a murderer. That's not good. It's not good. Yeah, I decide I'm gonna try to swim, right? Try to brave the flood, but I drown. I'm dead. I kind of wake up in the modern day, so it's like, am I dead? Am I really not? The dream doesn't make itself clear. It's just dream logic. Who knows? And I realize that there's a guerrilla group organized by the government of the Cook Islands operating in my neighborhood. I tell my mom, I call up my mom, and I'm like, hey, you know there's a guerrilla group in our neighborhood? And she's like, no, definitely not. I'm like, yeah, like have you seen those guys walking around? She's like, yeah, I have. Like I invited all of them into our house. You have sandwiches and stuff. I'm like, are you serious? You invited the guerrilla group into our house? These guerrillas, they were pretending to be high school football players, and my mom thought that if she invited them into our house, that they would help her win sports bets, because she had been really getting into sports bets in this dream. And she's like, these football players can really give me the insider knowledge I need to win a bunch of money. So I have a couple choices with this whole insurgency in my house issue. 1, I can run away. 2, I can try and fight the guys, probably won't work. Or 3, there's a secret third option apparently. There's this guy with a sawed-off machine gun. In your head, you should be thinking of like a person who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Like this is what this guy looks like. You know, I can like trick him into shooting the wrong person, I think is the idea with this third option. I choose the first option. I make a break for it. I immediately run out, and I'm running towards a lake. And I jump in the lake, and I try to swim across the lake because I think, well, okay, if you're looking for someone, you're probably going to want to stay on foot. You're not going to want to get your clothes wet, whatever. But the issue is that it's the dead of summer. It's like the perfect weather to be swimming in the lake. And there's tons of people in the lake swimming already. So the gorillas think to look there. Plus, they're from the Cook Islands. They're used to like this weather, and they're used to water. So, dumbfounding plan by me, apparently. Yeah, this giant mob of like thousands of people that these gorillas have collected from the neighborhood and from like the surrounding town start coming after me. They are swimming after me, trying to get me because I don't know, I'm a target of the gorillas, I guess. Maybe I'm still a murderer from before when I drowned. I don't really know. But I eventually surrender. Literally, no joke. I am apprehended by the guys I freed in the desert. I let them go, and now they're taking me in. What the hell, guys? What did I do to you? I actually saved your livelihood. So that was my reaction. And I look in their eyes, they look in mine, and they recognize me. They finally recognize me after apprehending me. We strike a chord mentally, and they decide, you know what? They're gonna let me go today. And they're about to let me go. But then they all get murdered by Boba Fett. And Boba Fett just flies in and starts bam, 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 bam. And just absolute chaos, absolute destruction. So I'm like, okay, I need to get away before I get ganked by Boba Fett. And I'm really, really scared about it. I run into like a nearby forest that's like right next to the lake. It's like kind of like a 74th Hunger Games arena type of vibe for the environment. He's kind of locked in on me. And then all of a sudden, Boba Fett stops. And he sees someone he wants to fight more and murder more. Samus from the Metroid series. And at this point, it's like, what is happening in this stream? Who knows? But then I get the choice. I can either become Samus and fight him, or I can become Naruto and fight him. So that's actually where the dream ends, which sucks because I want to know how the dream between me and Boba Fett went. Hey, you can't have everything in this life, I guess. On to the next dream. So this dream takes place at college. There's this new system that my college has set up where you can get arcade tokens for like doing things right. So for being a good person, for cleaning up after yourself, stuff like that, for rewarding you for good behavior. You can play arcade games with these tokens to earn prizes is how it works. So my friend and I, we find this old machine that actually just converts your tokens to US dollars. And we're like, okay, great. We'll just do a bunch of good stuff for other people and then make bank and everything will be great and jolly and fun. But it turns out we can't use it. It's like locked and we can't figure out how to rig it to work. We're gonna try and sneak into the student union at night to figure out how to get it to work and just work on it, but we can't. So we have to abandon the plan. So the next day we go to the student union. We're gonna look at it again, see if we can get it to work. But I kind of go off on my own for a little bit and I run into this guy and he asked to add me on Handshake. I'm like, dude, I don't like really keep up with my Handshake, which if you don't know, Handshake is a platform that's kind of like LinkedIn, but it's more like tailored to college students. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not really active. Like, I'm sorry, man. He's like, oh, well, what are you doing for your PhD? And I don't have plans to get a PhD. So I tell him that I'm not getting a PhD. And then I don't think he wanted my Handshake anymore. And while I'm at the student union, I actually see a bunch of people that I went to middle school with, but like don't go to my college. And I'm like, that's strange. They were like athletes that I played sports with. And I walk up to them and we start talking and it's a good time. And some are like very interested to see me and they're like, yo, Lucas, we haven't seen you in forever. Others are like, God, this guy stinks. Then I see a bunch of girls that like I recently met, don't know where I met them, and I try to go and talk to them. But they're busy destroying puzzles that other people have completed. So like one thing they like really like to do is like they'll see completed puzzles, they go and ruin them and take them apart. It's like objectively funny. Like unless you're the person who built the puzzle, then it sucks. But then I run into my dad. He starts throwing cheese balls at me, like the cheese balls that you can eat, right? He starts throwing them at me. And I try to catch them in my mouth to impress all the people that I've met, but I fail. I fail and it stinks and I'm the laughing stock of the town apparently. I even fall back on the floor. People for a second think that I have like a bad head injury, but I pop up, I'm fine. Yeah, my mom is also there and she starts crying after that because it reminds her of this boy named Brady Heigl, which for the record is like not a person I know at all. Like it's just a random name. She starts crying because, yeah, it's this guy that I used to know, which in the dream I did know him. He has brain cancer and he's fighting brain cancer. And I'm like, that sucks. Like that genuinely sucks. But I just tell her, I'm like, yeah, I don't really talk to the guy anymore. And she's like, okay, good. At least you didn't bring up that he has cancer in front of him. I'm like, okay, great, Mom. But a super cool story for Brady, right? Accomplished distance track and field runner. Multiple state championships in high school, and he's actually running distance and track at Eastern Michigan in the dream, despite having brain cancer, which is just amazing. I know it's just a dream, but that's still amazing. Through all of this talk and all of this hubbub and meeting people that I haven't seen in forever, I totally forget that I'm supposed to meet back up with my friend and we're supposed to go find a way to rig the arcade tokens and make a bunch of money. So I'm this famous YouTuber, and my current series on my YouTube channel in this dream is called Pokemon in Real Life. And it's not similar at all to the Pokemon in Real Life that Smosh made all those years back. It's this series where I like travel around the United States and I pretend that I'm a trainer going through like the gym leader challenge. Although I'm just like walking and going on the routes like Ash Ketchum did in the anime. Yeah, and it just leads to all this like super cool but crazy stuff. Like at this one point I got attacked by a tiger. Yeah, crazy. What really is the impetus of the dream, right, is I need a specific book in the library to progress in the gym leader challenge. And I'm in a small town in the Great Plains, like maybe like Kansas or Iowa or somewhere around there, right? And I stop at this small library kiosk. To my surprise, my old supervisor at my old job is working at the library. Even more to my surprise, a girl I used to intern with is at the library as well. So this girl, right, the girl I interned with, she's trying to get a translation on a book that she's reading for her master's thesis. And she's doing her master's now, and I kind of petered off after college, and I'm making content like the bizarro I am. She doesn't exactly remember who I am from the internship, but when I mentioned my name and where we met, she does remember me, so that's fine, I guess. Wish I was more memorable. So it turns out we're actually heading in the same direction after all this library stuff. She's heading back in a car to her home state, and I'm going on the same route trying to complete the gym leader challenge. I offer, I'm like, hey, I can drive your car and I'll drive the both of us back to your home state. Completely disregarding the gym leader challenge, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, this girl's kind of cute. Maybe we could go on a date. So we embark on a road trip there, but there is like a third person the whole time, which is a friend of hers who is like also at the library. Yeah, me the whole time, just the whole ride back, it's super, super sweet. Me and this girl I interned with, we're talking, we're getting to know each other past like what we knew about each other when we interned together, and it's a great time. I ask her about her career aspirations, she asks about mine. We talk about what we want from our personal lives, and it's just such an awesome time. And this whole car ride back, I'm completely falling head over heels for her, and I'm seeing her as somebody that I would love to get to know on a romantic level. Eventually, after a long ride there, we get to the college that she's getting her master's at, and the three of us, we park downtown and then we grab a bus to go back to her house because the bus kind of runs around her house. And we arrive at her place, and it's a massive house shared by many, kind of like a co-op, but it has more of like almost a sorority feel, even though she's not in a sorority and she's a master's student. As she gets off the bus, I get off too. And I'm not supposed to get off the bus because I have to keep going on my route, but I get off too, right? And I tell her, I say, if you're ever near my hometown, please text me because I want this to go somewhere. And I kiss her. We kiss, and it's great. And she walks away. I have to watch her walk out of my life and walk out of my dream. And it's bittersweet because I have to do what I have to do, and she has to do what she has to do. But at the end of the day, we're happy, even though we also could have been happy together, maybe. Who knows? I reboard the bus and go back to where she kind of parked her car. And on the way back, at the end of the stream, me and the bus driver chat about my long journey after this, how it's just almost getting started in a way. And that's how the dream ended. Yeah, it's a very gushy dream, a romantic dream. And it sounds weird talking about it as if it was real and almost romanticizing it in a weird way. But I think we need to do that sometimes. We need to have these daydreams and hold on to them. That ultimately sets the standard for where we want our lives to be. Like, I know my future, no matter who I end up with or what I end up doing for a career, is going to be just as cool as it was in that dream because I've set the bar for myself now. I know what I want because subconsciously I was fighting for it. All right, we got a lucid dream. First and only lucid dream of the month. They don't happen often, but they happen this month. I'm playing GeoGuessr, which, if you don't know, is this game where it gives you like Google Street View and you have to guess where in the world it is just using context clues, language, area codes, whatever. I'm having a good round. I'm having a few lucky guesses, a few educated guesses that are right. I get my fourth guess exactly correct down to the city. And the city is Ciudad Juarez, which is in Mexico. All of a sudden, as soon as I make the guess and I get it completely right, I find myself in Ciudad Juarez. I guess I got transported there for getting it 100% correct. I'm not really sure. I spawn in a car and it's dusk. I let the sun set before moving out of the car. Not sure why, but then I set out to a bar where I'm like, might as well get a drink. So I find a decent looking bar on Google Maps and I route myself there. But when I start walking, something goes terribly wrong.
Ciudad Juarez has been firebombed.
There are bombs dropping from the sky. It's like Dresden. Houses and streets are catching on fire. And I really have to like tiptoe around downtown to even get to this bar. But I still have my mind on the bar. Yeah, eventually I make it like pretty far from my starting point, right? The sun rises. I've made it the whole night and I still haven't made it to the bar. I see a baseball field that hasn't been ruined by the fire. And I believe it belongs to like a team in the top flight of Mexican baseball. But then I look at the team practicing on the field. They're all Japanese, like ethnically Japanese, and I'm just confused. So then that makes me wonder, am I actually in Ciudad Juarez or am I in Japan? I start getting in my mind about the whole thing, right? And I realize playing the game well seems to be correlated with getting to go home. If I can play more GeoGuessr, maybe it'll let me go home, is what I'm thinking. It's also worth mentioning, this Ciudad Juarez, or so I think, city, is this like futuristic version of Ciudad Juarez that's been completely crippled by AI. Like everything in this city you can tell is just made using AI and it's disgusting, low-key. Yeah, after I walk past the baseball team, I see a lacrosse team playing. And if you know anything about Japan or Mexico, neither of them really dabble in lacrosse. So I'm like, what are we doing here, right? All of them are white. And now I'm even more confused. But then I look even closer at this lacrosse team, and they're people that I grew up playing sports with. Then I have a revelation. I'm in a dream. Why can't I figure out where this is? Why can't I place my marker on the map and get it right? It doesn't have to make sense when you're in a dream. Once I realize that I'm in a dream and I'm trapped and I don't know how to get home, like the ground gives way to me. And I fall through the ground, fall into this black void. Kind of like when Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar goes into the black hole. Like it's just, I'm surrounded by darkness and I'm just floating in this empty void. And I'm just spinning, just head over heels, just like rotating. And that's how the dream ends, with me rotating in nothingness. All right, day 29, what I consider to be the day that had really my last meaningful dream in it. So I'm moving into a new dorm for my last year of college, and it's this like rusty, old, but like aesthetically mid-century modern building of studio apartments. And they're pretty sparsely decorated, but they come pre-decorated. Like outside my door of my apartment is just the Little Caesars logo, but it's like a metal sign, and it's a rusty metal sign. It's weird. The only nice part about the building is the lobby. I mean, it looks like 30 Rockefeller Plaza. Like it's very, very nice. And also the dorm is like they tore down my parents' house to build the dorm, which like sucks for my parents, but that's where I live now. And that's where a lot of people live in this dream. But the trade-off is my mom lives in the lobby. So still in the same building as my mom. I'm still in college. I've moved in for my last year of college, but she decides, hey, how about the two of us get some pizza together? Celebrate you moving in. You know, she lives in the lobby. I live on the 3rd floor or whatever. And I'm like, sure. Yeah, she places an order for a pizza joint at the end of the street, and I'm gonna go and pick it up. But there's also this event that I want to hit on the way back. You know, it's campus. There's events happening all the time. But it's a black tie event. So I have to dress up to go to the pizza place, then head to the event where I'm just holding the pizza and I'm meeting up with all these people. And I do that, right? Yeah, I stop by the event and I run into somebody who graduated in real life this past year. And I'm super, super ecstatic. And I'm like, hey, like I haven't seen you in forever. And we walk for a little bit. We end up just walking back to my dorm where my old house actually is. And while we're walking back, I show her on my computer, because I have my computer pulled up while holding a box of pizza, apparently. Like a log I'm keeping, a database of every event I've been to as a student. It's like a application, right? There's user interface, and when you click on the event name, pictures from the event pop up, which is cool. It's cool. I have a bit more comp sci knowledge in the dream than I do in real life. Yeah, so we walk all the way to my dorm, where my mom's waiting for the pizza, like outside, kind of on this like front porch area. And she waves to this friend of mine, because it turns out that all these years prior, I didn't know this in the dream, but my mom actually tutored her. What subject did my mom tutor her in? Pokemon Sun and Moon for the Nintendo 3DS. My mom taught her how to play the game. Just to be clear, my mom knows nothing about Pokemon, so the two of them, my friend and my mom, they chat for a little bit, and you know, they have a good laugh. Then my mom is like, wait a moment, I still have a cartridge of Pokemon Sun and Moon and a 3DS. I'm gonna give it to you. But my friend, she declines. She's like, no, that's just way too nice of you. I can't possibly take it. And I think my mom thinks I'm into her, but it's a strictly platonic deal with the two of us. I end up giving the pizza to my mom, and I head back to my room. Funny enough, I don't actually even eat the pizza. I just head back to my room, and I'm gonna change out of my tux and then actually head back to the pizza place, because I drove to the pizza place, but then walked back to my dorm, and I left the car at the pizza place. So I'm gonna go change out of my tux and head to the pizza place, walk there, and then drive back, which is a terrible plan, but yeah, happens. But then I'm heading back out, ready to walk back to the pizza place, and I run into two guys that I went to high school with. One who I haven't seen in like 5 years, and you know, we just start talking about how we need to get together and do something before I run into another guy from high school, and another, and it just keeps happening. So we're just this whole conglomerate of people standing in the lobby of my dorm now, and they're all dressed to the nines, and I'm like, I literally just took my tux off. Like, this couldn't have happened like 5 minutes earlier. And we all start talking and catching up. So one of the guys, he introduces me to his girlfriend. They've been dating a year and a half. She's this blonde girl with a bob, and she has these really thick glasses that kind of make her look like Nelson Rockefeller in a way. But she like low-key pulls it off. Like, they look good on her. And she asked me what I want to do with my life. To which I reply, I used to want to work for the CIA. Bad luck. In response, she says that if her boyfriend ever aspired to do that, she would withhold kissing, doing it, and onions, which makes just all of the guys laugh. Like, we think is so funny. And then we just completely ribbed the guy for loving onions, because that's just a weird hill to die on. That's how the dream ends. So I had a great time logging my dreams for the last 31 days. It was a hoot to see what I'm thinking of, what I'm not thinking. And overall, I hope you guys really loved this video. If you enjoyed it, consider liking, subscribing, or commenting. Any one of those helps. And at the end of the day, I just kind of want to leave you guys with this tidbit. Dreams. Do they actually have meaning at all? Intrinsically, do they mean something? Or is it the fact that we assign value to certain things that happen within our dreams that give it the meaning that we're looking for?